Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and today we're going to look at Kislev, more specifically a mod known as the Motherland. You see, Kislev's implementation in Total War Warhammer 3 and its announcement for Warhammer the Old World has seen them getting a rather radical change in some parts. Some people like some of the changes, some people aren't so keen, and, well, some people are indifferent, but it very much depends on where you fall through that scale. But what this mod does is embrace some of the newer changes, but brings back many of the old. The mod right now is mostly aesthetic, and does include one new unit, but will get improved upon as time progresses. Keep in mind that this is from the same creator as Sons of Sigmar, so if you were a big fan of that mod in Warhammer 2, you're definitely going to like this one as it progresses. So if we jump right in, we can already see a big change with the light war sleds. Now they've been changed to Oblast sleds, and as you can see, the bears have been replaced by horses to get rid of that bear fatigue, and the magical ice is also now missing. I think this works rather well because first up, it looks very unique. Secondly, we do have a lot of bears already with Little Grom, the war bear riders, the heavy war sleds, even, pretty much every character being able to ride bears. So this brings back a few more horses, and yeah, it just looks really good. The Zargard in vanilla look a bit too much like armored corsairs, so what's happened here is they've been given a bit of a visual overhaul. Now they look a bit more regal and have been renamed to that of the Crown Guard because that's the old school name. It's a very odd name change, but then again, this has been happening with a lot of units, such as, for example, the horse archers are supposed to be Ungol horse archers, but yeah. So they've received a bit of a glow up and it makes them just feel a lot better. So all of the different Zargard units, which are now Crown Guard, will have this glow up. There's a new one there, which we'll talk about just now. So another variant has been added in by the modders, this time with Bertsche. I'm not sure if I'm saying that weapon name correctly, so I do apologize. But once again, heavily armored, armor-piercing, anti-large. It adds for a nice new unit, and it gives you some variety. When you get to the later game, you want to start bringing in more higher tier units. And while yes, Total War does focus primarily on range, it is nice to have a few different variants, especially a weapon as cool as this. Role playability, especially when it comes to Total War and even Warhammer, is a big factor here, so adding some variants is a really nice thing. If you want to go for a more regal approach, more heavily armored warriors to meet up with the Chaos Warriors for a good fight, you've got it here. And most importantly, they'll look good doing so. The units themselves are pretty good at the front line as expected. I've got them fighting some Plague Bearers of Nurgle here because the Plague Bearers themselves can deal a decent amount of damage whilst also being very durable, and I was able to see them just pretty much fall apart. It very much depends on how you're using them, especially having some extra support. They do a lot of damage, and, well, I mean, just the animation style is cool. I like how they fight with this weapon. It's really nice, and that's the main thing. Aesthetically pleasing is always a good thing. Even if you're going to be mostly watching from afar, those times that you get up close, you want to see something cool. We've got a nice recolor here for the Griffin Legion horses. Now, they still keep the more new age look, especially with the armaments and all that, but the red and white paint is just so nice. I really smiled when I saw this. It takes you back to the 6th edition supplements, seeing just how cool they were, because they were the only horses that were really out there painted like that. And it was just really nice seeing this. It really brought back some fond memories of the tabletop. Again, I know some recolors might not be exciting for people, but this definitely was for me. Now this is something that I'm really happy to see. Some extra bear fur colors, so not everyone is riding the same bear. Now you've got some variety. It brings in just a few more looks. You can see brown bears, black bears and all that. And it's great. It's just nice to see when you are massing up a large army of them, especially if, say, for example, you're playing as Boris. You're going to have a lot of bear riders due to how his faction works, and just everything being the same color is just a bit boring. So now you get some variety, which I think is a really good thing. Variety is the spice of life after all. Our good friend Kosteltin will also have access to a black bear mount, which I think is really nice. It really sets him apart from all others, especially since we're seeing a lot of polar bears. It's just nice to have a bit of a visual change, especially since he's supposed to be more, well, in a sense, a bit of an antagonist when you're playing as Tsarina. So I think it's kind of nice to have him stand out. And this was a really good idea by the modders. I think this just makes him look a lot better. Tsarina Catherine has also been given a really lovely change. She's considered to be one of the strongest spellcasters in the lore when it comes to the lore of ice magic. So it only makes sense that she knows the lore very well, and by this, she's got access to both the lore of ice and the lore of tempest, meaning that you can switch around spells and see which one's best for you. Considering considering both the laws of magic form the basis of what was, well, ice magic, it only makes sense that she has access to both, and it makes her a very powerful and potent spellcaster. And since you're going to be fighting, well, loads of hordes of chaos, extra magic does help. So if you want her leading your armies to, say, invade the Chaos Waste, rather than just going into the Realms of Chaos, if you've got the toggle off and all that, you've got more reason to have her in the front line as the general she is truly meant to be. There are a few other minor changes which I would suggest just going through the Steam page itself, which will be linked in the description below, especially if you're interested in Kislev and want more of an old school 6th edition feel to them, as it's always great to have a good read, with the mod itself already having a few updates, so this is good, it's getting updated regularly, but then again, if you're familiar with Zoodad, you'll know that he updates his mods fairly often to make sure that he's always adding in new stuff. The page itself also outlines some stuff that they want to do in the future, like for example, remake the mount options for the Lords and Heroes, because everyone right now has a bear, but they need modding tools for that, so yeah, that's going to have to wait, but that means that maybe, if everything works according to plan, Catherine and the Caster Lords can get the sleds that they deserve, which is something from lore, and it's a shame that it never got added in vanilla, but hey, you know, modders. But with that being said, if you're a fan of Kislev, but more of a traditional fan with the older look, I highly recommend this mod. It just makes things feel so, well, classic. It can be found in the description below, and with all that being said, have a nice day.